My name is MReam, and this is Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost. Whose woods are these, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near. Between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year, he gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep.
When we first look at the poem Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening by Robert Frost, it's easy to assume that it is simply a man riding his horse and stopping to look on the beautiful scene of snowfall on the darkest night of the year. However, we have to look closer to find the meaning behind the syntax Frost chooses. The meaning is developed by his use of symbols, rhyme, tone, and especially repetition in this case. The tone of this poem is rather ominous until the reader reaches the end of the poem. The ending is where we see the writer's final decision being made. In most of Frost's poems, there's a decision that needs to be made. A few examples of this fact are The Road Not Taken and Come In, both poems by Robert Frost. Each of these poems depicts a person in nature making a certain decision. The decision made in The Road Not Taken is which path in life the man should choose, figuratively speaking. In Come In, the decision the man makes is to keep walking and not enter the woods even though the bird is beckoning him inside, which would be literal. In this poem, Frost uses a few symbols to give hints at the meaning of his poem, such as the woods, the horse, the village, and even the snowfall. The woods symbolize a place to abandon all responsibility and get lost in the beauty that nature provides. They beckon the writer to throw his cares and responsibilities away and come inside to succumb to the beauties of nature. He knows that stopping in the dark woods is viewed as a strange thing to do, especially by society. This fact is qualified by the horse giving his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The horse, the symbol of society, is confused by the man stopping in this abnormal place without any obvious reason as to why. The snow symbolizes a covering or a hiding place for the rider. However, it can also be seen in a darker way. If the rider chooses to go into the woods, the snow will in turn cover his tracks and he will be lost in this place forever. A more figurative analysis of this would be if the man ignores his responsibilities in life, he will be lost and unable to make necessary decisions. Each line of the poem has a rhyming pattern, except for the third line in stanzas 1 through 3. The third line sets up the rhyming pattern for the preceding stanza, until the very last stanza, where the reader begins to take notice of the poem's deeper meaning. Finally, while reading the last two lines, the reader starts to understand the poem's meaning a lot more clear. The last lines, "and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep," are where the reader decides that the poem is about a decision to be made. Many people start to relate this poem to death, seeing as sleep is often a symbol of death. Therefore, miles to go before I sleep is indeed another way of saying that the man still has many years to live before he dies, and many journeys to take before he does finally sleep. That decision is to fulfill his responsibilities rather than forgo them and get lost in the beauty of the woods, being the decision of the poem or of the man himself, which is why he does not go into the woods. In the last stanza, Frost focuses on the characteristics of the woods. He stresses the beauty in them and how large they really are by commenting on how deep and dark they are. This short description reminds the reader of a siren. Sirens, which were a part of Greek mythology, are women or creatures that lured sailors to rocks that would destroy their ships and kill them. In turn, the woods are drawing this man inside to his death, death being the result of the sentence, or death being the result because of the sentence and miles to go before I sleep. The man does choose not to enter the woods. However, the way the last sentence is restated gives the reader the feeling that the man may return to the woods when it is finally his time to rest and sleep.